Hi everyone, welcome to Oscar's Green Card. Today we are updating you on the visa bulletin for April 2025. Let's start. As you may know, my name is Oscar, I'm a scientist, not a lawyer, and in this channel we cover green cards like EB2NAW or EB1A in which you can be the owner of your immigration future because you can be a self-petitioner. That means that you can do it without a company sponsoring you. You can apply for this green card without having a job offer, and also you can choose to do it without a lawyer. Here in this channel, we cover that. We also have online courses in our website so you can really learn step by step how to put together a successful petition. But now, let's start covering the topic for today, which is the visa bulletin that brings good news, especially in the category EB2NAW. After a few months of slow movements, we are continuing that trend. So let's get into that and let's start discussing the visa bulletin. So the first thing that you should know is that in order to get this visa bulletin yourself, you just need to Google visa bulletin, and usually the first result will lead you here to the .gov website, so an official website by the US government where you can access all the visa bulletins, but here you will always have the highlighted menu, the visa bulletin for the current month, in this case March 2025, and you at some point of the month, today is March 10th, so they just released the upcoming visa bulletin, in this case April 2025. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open both of them in two different tabs so we can go from one to the other and compare them really easily, and I'm going to give you a few comments so you can understand and you know how to interpret this visa bulletin for your own case. We're going to see two tables, Table A and Table B. Table A is called Final Action Dates and Table B is Dates for Filing. The most important table, and I always say this, is Table A because that applies for everyone. No matter if you are doing this process from abroad and you will do a consular processing, or you are in the US and you are hoping to do an adjustment of status, Table A is really what dictates if there is a visa number available to you. And this is important because this is a quota-based system, a system in which we have approximately 140,000 green cards per year. So the visa bulletin really is telling you, can you proceed to the final stage and can you hopefully be interviewed and receive a green card or not? And that is something that Table A tells you. Lately, maybe we'll cover briefly what Table B is, but Table A is really what you should be more worried about. That being said, let's go to the visa bulletin and take a look at what is happening in April 2025. Here on the screen, I have March. On the other tab, I have April. So let's quickly recap what was the situation in March for Table A, Final Action Dates. In EB1, we had a C. C means current. It means that there is no backlog at all. And if you have a letter C, it means that you can hope to get an interview very soon as they have an opening, okay? And so that was the situation for most countries, of course, not for China and India, which usually suffer from bigger backlogs. They had a date of November 2022 for China, February 2022 for India. Let's see the situation for EB1 in April. So the situation is exactly the same. We have a letter C for most countries in EB1. China and India still remain in November 2022 and February 2022 respectively. So no change there in EB1. Of course, EB1 is a faster path to a green card compared to EB2, EB2NAW, but also it is a way more strict category. If we talk about EB1A, we have to show that we are people of extraordinary ability, and they are quite strict, those officers, when it comes to agreeing with our assessment or not. But of course, if you're interested in that, we have a website, EB1greencard.info, in which you can find a lot of information, and you can find our online course as well to learn how to do it by yourself. So let's take a look at the situation for EB2. In March, we had a date of 15th of May 2023, and that meant that those who filed their case, their I-140 case, before 15th of May 2023 could hopefully get an interview in an embassy or at USCIS if they were doing an adjustment of status. Remember, you always have to compare your priority date to the date you see on the table for your country, for your category, and your priority date has to be earlier than the date you see in the visa bulletin. And so we went from May 15th, 2023 to 22nd of June, 2023, which is good news. It's excellent news because we're moving 5 weeks and 1 month has passed in the calendar from March to April, and we're seeing a little bit more than a 1 month advancement, which is again positive. I want to reiterate, I really like to give good news. These are good news, okay? We do have still a pretty long backlog for EB2 for most countries, and that continues to be the case, but at least we're seeing movement. And for China, we had a date of May 2020. That date in April will be October 2020, so even better news for Chinese applicants because they see 5 months of progress in the visa bulletin that is coming in April. And India is also seeing a little bit of a movement forward from December 2012 to January 2013, 1 month of movement. It's a consolation prize because, of course, India has a very tough situation when it comes to EB2, when it comes to backlogs, but at least things are moving. So I want to highlight that, have this positive note in this video because we could see a frozen date all across the board. We could even see retrogression. We may see that in the future. We always have to be ready for that. But we are seeing changes forward, and that is always great to see. Okay. If I take a quick look at other categories, even though we don't focus on that, we do have some movements in EB3 as well, and other workers are also moving. And a very important thing here, the fourth category is now unavailable. So it seems that they ran out of green cards for them. The quota is now depleted, and they can no longer provide those visa numbers for that category. But again, I don't focus on those categories, so let's keep moving.
So let's take a quick break to introduce you to our multiple resources that we offer in our websites. This is our website for EB2 NIW, where you can find a lot of information about this category, and above all the resources, we encourage you to join our EB2 NIW course for self-petitioners, where we teach you everything you need to know about the petition and how to write the cover letter, fulfilling the matter of DANASAR, preparing your recommendation letters, getting ready a professional or a business plan, and we even teach you how to put together the package to send it to USCIS. You can submit your questions in each lesson, and once a month we have a live session with the course members where you can meet us face-to-face and ask us any doubt you have.
Table B is not very relevant in this month because, again, the significance of Table B is that at the beginning of the fiscal year, adjustment of status applicants may be able to file their I-485 adjustment of status package based on Table B, which is usually more beneficial. The dates are better for applicants than Table A. But sometime along the fiscal year, USCIS says, no, stop that. Now you have to use Table A. And we are already in that moment. They already had that change earlier in the fiscal year. So Table B now is not very, very relevant. And that's why I won't comment it. Also because for these two categories is exactly the same. If we look, let me put it in the same situation here. You see that we had January 23rd, January 23, April 22 for EB1, China and India is the same, and rest of world EB2 is August 23, and which was the case already. So there's no change, but also is really not significant for this particular moment in the fiscal year. Remember, the fiscal year will end in September, and October will mark the beginning of fiscal year 2026. And if you go down, it's always good to check out what they have written at the end of the visa bulletin in case there is something important that we should know about. And basically here, what they talk about is that they reach the annual limit for EB4. They don't have more visa numbers to give. Remember that this quota system is a law of Congress, so these agencies, they cannot exceed the quota provided to them. And that could happen for all categories. In fact, last year we saw that they ran out of numbers for EB1 and EB2 ahead of the end of fiscal year. It's good that they do that, because if they do that, it means that they are using all the visa numbers and they are not letting those visa numbers go to waste. Okay, so we should expect to see that. Now, before we finish, I want to share what is the current status in a historic perspective. You know that I always end the video with this. Here we have EB2 rest of world. And of course, we saw that since the end of 2022, the situation in terms of months to be current, wait time at that particular moment, in that particular visa bulletin, we saw the situation deteriorated because before November 2022, there was no wait time in EB2, including EB2 and AW, but that rapidly escalated. And in fact, in the last year, since summer 2024, the situation even got worse, with wait times increasing and increasing and increasing until we reach a maximum of 22 months of predicted wait time at that particular point in February 2025. And now the situation is stabilizing, slightly going down, slightly improving, but of course we'll have to keep monitoring that situation and see what happens next. So now the turn is yours. Let me know what you think. What is your impression on this visa bulletin? Are you happy with it? Are you relieved? Were you waiting to become current and now you are? I would love to hear those news. Or are you about to? Let me know what are your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. I always read you. I may answer or not, but I always read all your messages. So thank you for being there, for subscribing, for liking the video. You make this channel grow. Without you, we are no one. Okay, so let's keep going and good luck in your green card process.